Five, four, three, two, one. Friday! Yes, sirree, ladies and gentlemen, and ma'am. Happy Friday. This is a great day. It is a cloudy, slightly drip droppy, um, cooler, breezy day here in the Atex. We are back with What's the Buzz. My name is Beami. You can follow me at Beami Music on Instagram, my YouTube channel at Beami Music. Yeah, my website beamy.earth. We are ready to roll here on the start of the weekend. What a day. What a week we have had, honestly, so far, and what a weekend we are about to step into. Of course, we're going to get to your high five topics today: the local news, world news, sports news, our jam of the day, and then our closing message. We went a little long yesterday. The closing message went about 15 minutes, but we're going to be a little more speedy today, a little more on time. Of course, I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts Nova and Amber, as they are amped up today. I had to kind of delay the show a sec just to settle them down enough to record. But if you hear them barking, that's why. And something we're gonna get to in detail. A big reason why the energies are amped up. I'm hearing people. I was in Target earlier. I do grocery delivery, and I was shopping for some customers, and there was someone, in aisles away screaming in the aisles of all these profanities. And man, Nova and Amber have been on edge, ready to rock all day long. And a big part of that is the sun's increasing activity, and we're gonna get to that more in our world news. Usually, okay, let's just jump right into it. Today's theme, I forgot to mention, I'm getting excited. Today's theme is all about water. H2O. Gotta stay that hydrated. We are over 70% water ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we talked in yesterday's show on the world news about the radio signal that hydrogen atoms give out, and how they detected the furthest radio signal ever recorded from a hydrogen. That is obviously a part of water, H2O. And yeah, water is something, obviously we all know what it is and what it's about, but it's something that I've come to a much greater appreciation for in the in the last couple of years. I've started hydrating a lot more as well. I drink about two, probably average about 2 gallons a day. Um, yeah, it's we're in a water world. This is a water planet, and one of the ways that we've been told that they look for life out on other planets is by seeing if it has water to support life. Not every planet, obviously, even in next door, is a water planet. We have gas planets and all of that. So one of the amazing things is that all of the water on Earth, like I think over 99% of it, if not all of it, has been on Earth for the entire duration of Earth's life, for billions and billions and billions of years, way before us, and it'll be here way after us. So that's one of the things that I think you can point to in terms of the future of our planet. This planet is not going to turn into a gaseous planet. This planet is not going to become anything other than what it is, a water planet. It's always been here. It will always be here. Civilizations come and go, species come and go, but the water remains and this planet remains, and it'll do whatever it takes to stay healthy. And I think we're going to see that more and more in the coming months and years for sure. So usually I don't, you know, you have a weather report. I mean, we'll talk about the weather, but usually it's not one of our top high five topics. But to get into our high five topic number one, our local news story, it's got to be. This is why it's newsworthy, is because the best chance of rain so far all year is coming next week, with wetter weather. And it's still not necessarily a ton, but about 3/4 to an inch of rain is expected coming in the early parts of next week. Um, that's exciting stuff. Obviously, lots of areas on the planet need more rain and need more water, but uh, this area of Central Texas definitely could use all the rain it can get. I love rain. I love rainy weather. Um, Man, it's a gift. And so that is our topic number one. Yeah, we'll link it down below. I believe it's from KXAN, but I'm sure every news channel locally is reporting the weather. Yeah, so finally may get some substantial rain coming next week. We're also supposed to get, I think, chances of a little bit over Saturday, maybe into this upcoming morning. So not much to say, honestly, about that, except we'll continue to keep our fingers crossed and stay hopeful and optimistic about more rain coming. And as we mentioned briefly, the activity of the sun picking up impacts everything on our planet, and that's gonna hopefully lead us to some more storms, some more rain coming as well, which kind of leads us straight into our high five topic number two, our world news of the day. And I think this is monumental. I think this is huge, more than not just what it's saying, but the fact that it's being said. This is the headline: Violent solar storms possible through next week. I am not a fan of how many scientists and media outlets speak about our star, in terms of the negative verbiage and adjectives used to describe the sun. The fact is, if we didn't have our sun, none of us would be here, and all life would be dead, or all life wouldn't exist. So, calling the sun violent or scary, or that we're lucky if it behaves a certain way, or anything like that, is kind of a shame to me, because the sun is why we're here. There's nothing but love from it, and I hope that we can learn to reciprocate that to our son as well. But anyways, the whole point is that, you know I mentioned in the last show that we're nearing a solar cycle, or we're nearing our uh, solar maximum as we get closer to July 2024 is the peak, and there's multiple sunspots on the Earth facing side of the sun. Um, so this article that will be linked down below is the first time I've seen in my lifetime a sort of, this is going to be from local KXAN.com. It was the front page today. First time I've seen a even remotely clear story or write up about the reality of our sun. I didn't know until a couple years ago when someone told me that the sun has cycles. This article talks about the 11-year solar cycle, the pole flips of the sun, the sunspots and solar flares and CMEs that are produced that affect our life on Earth. And it does still uh, kind of, diminish, I think, the scope of the reality of this. But it says CMEs and solar flares can impact our planet, and I think that's a little bit of an understatement, considering it all affects us, just and not just in terms of weather, but in terms of our consciousness, our psyche, our um, behavior, um, our mental health. So I think the sun is gonna bring out everything. It's gonna shine a light on everything, and it's gonna do it increasingly so as we move forward. And if you haven't worked on your shadow side, if you have traumas that you've covered up, if you have fears, if you have things undealt with within yourself, ego issues, anger issues, deep rooted traumas from childhood that you never addressed, it's going to pop up. It's going to flare up, and I think we're seeing that increasingly so all over the world and all over everything. When I saw what happened in the situation with Texas Longhorns basketball coach Chris Beard and his fiance, that was the first thing I thought of was, yep, flares are popping off and people are acting out. When I saw Dana White, the president of UFC, and his wife uh, in that video slap each other, yep, that's it's flaring up. And I think people who haven't learned to manage their emotions or manage their day-to-day being, it's going to flare up, and nothing can be hidden any longer. So but I think it's just such a huge, I knew it was going to happen eventually. I didn't expect to wake up this morning and see that mainstream news outlets were finally being more clear about what's going on our sun. But I think that's super exciting, and I look forward to that continuing, because people need to be educated on the reality of our planet, our present, our future, and our sun. It's the single most impactful factor on our everyday life, and it's I think beneficial to understand how it works and what that means, um, in a way beyond what we were taught in school. The education system has so many flaws, but the way that we've understood weather and the reason, today's show is all about water, um, but the sun is one of the biggest factors in the water cycle, and that's why we mention that. For We're always going to mention the sun. It's the biggest factor in everything, but that's why it's our world news for today. Excuse me. So we're going to kind of touch on that throughout the show, but we'll go ahead and move to our high five topic number 3, which is our sports news of the day. I haven't seen the video of this. I just kind of saw the story about it. Andy Murray, the tennis player, is playing at the Australian Open, and I believe it was yesterday. He was very frustrated with not being allowed to pee during the 4+ hour long match at the Australian Open. Man, that's that's I don't know. I get it. I've been there. Not necessarily in a match and in at an Australian Open on TV and all that, but like I said, I try to not try. I just end up kind of drinking 2 gallons of water every day, and that has me needing to pee quite often, at least once an hour. Sometimes every 30 minutes, I'm got a full bladder and I gotta pee. And man, being out on the road and all that, it's not it's not always comfortable or easy. I'll be at red lights shaking my leg just because um I'm hydrating so quickly. At the same time, it's like I don't want to sacrifice my hydration for uh comfort, or like comfort out and about. But um I think I think a lot of the world is underhydrated. Obviously, a lot of the world doesn't even have clean drinking water. Um, I actually spent time briefly living on a Native American reservation in Arizona, and initially my goal was to um, bring them water jugs and refill their water because they, for the entire time that they've been there, the government has not been giving them drinking water, and the water that they have is filled with poison and arsenic and all these things that kill you. Um, so it's not something we can take for granted, the ability to just open a bottle of water and stay hydrated. But at the same time, it's something that not enough of us do. I think we're too busy worried about our Diet Cokes and our Dr. Peppers, and our coffees to open up that bottle of water more often. So, Andy Murray, I get you. I would be frustrated too. I don't know. I didn't see the video. I don't know exactly how frustrated he got or what, but you got to go. You got to go, and especially if you got to go bad, it's hard to think about anything else. And I don't know. At least I guess at least he had a tennis match to play, but moving around, oh man, I can't imagine. So maybe tennis and sports in general should think of a way to address that. But yeah, that's brutal. that yeah that so we're gonna jump into our jam of the day, topic number 4. I've mentioned Chris Cornell, and my respect and my appreciation for him and his work and um, his words. But his last album that he released, his last solo album before his death, was called Higher Truth. The lead single off of that named Higher Truth, which is a great song. But our jam of the day today is from that album, and it is called, the name of the song, Our Time in the Universe. I think that Chris was a very enlightened and aware person, and this whole album just feels like such a sincere and understood goodbye. Um, my best friend, uh, his name is Connor. He died in a car accident when he was like 22, and he had all this music talking about, you will always remember me, and stuff like that. And it certain people in certain times, it feels like they kind of know when they're about to go, or if they're about to go, or start sensing that. And there's something about this Chris Cornell album that feels like he was aware of his time being kind of nearing a close. And I love the vibe and the lyrics of Our Time in the Universe. Highly recommend it, and I think it's a very motivational and uplifting tune for our day and age today, at a time when when much of the world looks chaotic, much of the world looks um, negative and bad. um, it kind of depends on what side of it you're on, and what where you're taking yourself, because I think there's a lot of people living their best life that they've ever lived, and increasingly so moving forward, by kind of detaching from what they're being fed and what everyone is being fed. There's a reason we've led ourselves down this path over the years and years and thousands of years that have gone by, and there's a reason why the people who are in charge and control the media and the news and the politics the way that they do. And at the end of the day, it's up to us as individuals to step into our power and live the life that we want. That can't be really stated enough, but it also can't be necessarily forced upon or taught. It's just kind of like each individual's, choice, and I really appreciate that. Um, People tend to either not believe in God, or say that God is a jerk, must be because he's letting all these people suffer, and we don't always choose to be in bad situations, but we do, I think, need to do more to take ownership of our life path and the choices we've made and the energies we've put out and the way that we've moved forward. And if you move forward holding on to the um, ideas and mindsets and words that someone else put on you, that someone else described you as, or someone else told you this is how it works, even if it was, not terrible, you're still kind of setting yourself up short, and you're doing a disservice to yourself. Because kind of like what I talked about yesterday, when you were a little kid, what did you feel? What did you think? What did you want to work towards? And in what ways do you feel like society? Do you feel like family? Do you feel like loved ones around you, or even strangers, um, TV, all that have, work, school has impacted and adjusted that concept? Because I think we were closer to our natural selves at birth than a lot of us become through the uh, the process of life. And that's not anyone's fault, and not knocking anybody. It's something we all have to experience and understand and recognize and go through. And once you recognize it, what do you choose to do from there is really what defines who you are, I think. I met someone at a park yesterday, and talking about how you can't save anybody. They have to save themselves. You can mention things, you can point people in the right direction, but ultimately, even in terms of, we were talking about trauma, and how someone you can go through the excuse me, you can go through the same traumas as somebody else, and almost, live the same childhood as somebody else, but how you respond to that trauma and how you react to that experience and what you decide to do from that to move forward ultimately decides really who you are and what your life is beyond that. There's people that could go through the same exact trauma, and their reaction to that trauma is to bury it deep inside and cover it up and move on. And they're not really moving on. They're just, putting a false bow on it. And um, then someone else with that same exact experience can say, well, man, you know, why did this happen to me? How can I be better from this happening to me? How can I understand it in a way that benefits myself, that helps me grow and recognize that what this person did to me or what this situation caused me isn't me. I don't have to take on the baggage and the behavior and the action of that experience or that person. And that was a big motivating factor for me as a kid, was, knowing that I was abused by my mother, and knowing that I took on a lot of her energy and a lot of her behavior. And I had a lot of rage and a lot of sick thoughts and a lot of depression and hate towards everything because of it. And I spent night after night after night after night for years of my life laying in bed, having these dark thoughts come up about myself, about others, about the world. And slowly but surely recognizing this isn't mine. This isn't how I feel. This isn't who I am. This isn't who I want to be. I don't want to be a dark thinking person. I don't want to be a negative person. I want to have fun. I want to smile. I want to laugh. I want to feel joy and peace and love. I want to be nice to people. I want to accept people around me and be a friend. And the second I felt that way, I knew that yeah. Oh man, there's some kids getting out of this. I don't know if it's a gymnastics school or what, but Nova is not happy about it. So there she is, first appearance, I believe, on What's the Buzz, and there's Amber. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for contributing. Yeah, it's all right. So yeah, I guess I was rambling on too much about that. I Like I said, I wanted to speed up today's show a bit. We kind of went long yesterday. Um, was our first 3 shows of the first week. Of course, you can tune in every weekday at 3:33 on our YouTube and on my website, beami.earth. Just click the WTB podcast tab or scroll down in the bottom and you can get there as well. But before we get into our closing message today, um, there's so many uses and forms and benefits of water that I think we kind of at this point look over and take for granted. And water is life. Life wouldn't be existing without the sun, but we wouldn't be able to be here on Earth and be ourselves and be our beings that we are without water. And you take water out and you take all of us out. So I think we need to be appreciative of the rain that we'll receive and pray for more. And because you think about it, like I said, this is a water planet, and yet there's so much land out, and I don't think that's necessarily the natural form or the natural state of our planet. I think a lot of our water is misplaced. This is something I said a while back, that you can take any water. It's not just Earth. If you went and found another water planet out there in the galaxy, and you did this, you can do the same exact thing that has been done on Earth, and it doesn't make it natural. This is like, we've become so comfortable and accustomed to our society and our civilizations and our industrialism and our technology and the way things are, that we haven't stopped to think about the fact that I mentioned Pandora yesterday, like the fact that naturally our planet and us as life forms work in harmony and symbiotic nature, symbiotic relationship. And so our water pollution shouldn't exist. Our water should be clean. We should all be able to drink from the stream, to wash in the stream, to yeah, and you can go to any planet in the galaxy and little by little create pipes and pipe the water and create faucets and do what has been done by the leaders, by the people in charge all these years, all over again. And I think it has been done on more than this planet, but I think that we're in the process and in stages of kind of returning back to a more natural state, and in a way that's going to be more healthy and more symbiotic. And just the way that we think of things isn't how it is. It hasn't been that way for very long in terms of this scope of our existence, and it won't continue very much longer. It was unsustainable from the beginning, and um, we're gonna, yeah, we're just all gonna start to recognize that more and more, I believe. So we're gonna get straight into our closing message. I want to thank you for joining us as always here on What's the Buzz. Got to hear Nova and Amber as well today. There's some kids screaming, and loud noises always hype them up. Yeah. But today's closing message, my message to you, to slow down the show, to close out the show, is do not limit what you understand to be knowledge. And what I mean by that is, obviously, there's so much information out there. There's so much, false or whatever narratives and way, in this age of information age or whatever, there's so many different ways to get information, and obviously a lot of it is lies or a lot whatever, but there's a wealth of knowledge out there. So yeah, so that's Nova's 2 cents on it. So just, I think, when basically don't get comfortable in what you understand to be true remaining true. Don't get locked into, decades worth or centuries worth or eons worth of things being the way they are. Things always evolve. We always learn new things. Not any single one of us has all the answers. Not any single one of us hasn't been subjected to some form of manipulation, of deceit. And because of the age we live in now, you can hop on YouTube, you can hop on Google, and you can, and this is one of the reasons for censorship by the world today, and like fact checking websites owned by specific corporations. You can seek the information that you're looking for, that you want to know more about. And the fact that I went over 24 years of my life without even knowing the sun had cycles, and it's 11-year cycles, which means that I went over 2 solar cycles without having any idea that was happening, without having any idea that when I watched the weather report on TV and I'm seeing these weathermen talk about, oh, this, pressure low and this jet stream is dipping down here and this Arctic blast is coming from the north and all that stuff, is because of the sun sending flares and energy to our planet that impacted the way it ran and the way that our fields shifted and all of that. You can see all these reports increasingly so year after year, and now even more so, turtles, whales beaching, meaning like dying on the beach because they were following the Earth's magnetic field. And with the Earth's magnetic field shifting, it's leading them to places that they wouldn't normally be going, like land. And that's one of the signs that things are escalating and intensifying and speeding up. And it's not um it's not all that it's not the things that are being reported and stuff is there's layers to everything, is what I'm saying. So especially in America, our education system is designed to limit our understanding of our own world. Literally, I don't know how else to say it. Sure, learn math all you want. Sure, learn the science that they teach you, but it's a very watered down and specific and limiting version of all of these things that serve to diminish your potential and your potential understanding of your own life and your own world. And like the fact that our world news today was violent solar storms possible through next week, and an article that details some of the basic beginning stuff that we should have learned in kindergarten about how the sun operates is mind-blowing, but at least a step in the right direction, for us as a collective and a world moving forward. So even if it's not something about the sun or about weather or whatever, like anything that you're interested in, go find different perspectives on it. Go find deeper layers to it and discover if what you believe and what you understand to be true and what you understand as what has been reported to being true, see if it holds up. See if you feel the same way about it. And if you do, great. Awesome. Then you just got that confirmation. But if you don't, you may learn something. You may discover something that sends you on a path that you never thought you'd be on, that is the most exciting thing in the world to you. And that's kind of how I feel about the sun. I don't know, there's something that hit me when someone told me that the sun had cycles, and I didn't even look it up yet. It just hit me, and I was like, that's amazing. Like, there's something about this that is so exciting and exhilarating to me, and I'm in disbelief that I didn't know that already. Everyone talks about the sun, the moon. The moon has cycles, goes through the phases every month, which, by the way, tomorrow is the start of the Lunar New Year, with a new moon in Aquarius, I believe, and or is it Capricorn? But anyways, the new moon is tomorrow, and that also increases chances of rain and flooding in certain areas, and all of that. But yeah, just seek out what you're interested in, and seek it out to the fullest is all I want to stress and say and encourage. Everyone is exactly where they're supposed to be and where they have led themselves to be. And I appreciate every single life form on Earth and in the universe for that. I really do. Yeah. It's going to be a fantastic weekend up ahead. Enjoy it. Sunday is supposed to be pretty sunny and clear and nice here in Austin. I will be on the road, out of town, in the morning, and I'll be excited to report back on what I've been up to over the weekend on our show on Monday. We also may have a special guest joining us next week, which is going to be pretty exciting. We hope that pans out. We'll let you know about that as well. Other than that, hey, go enjoy it out there. Go have fun. Relax. Breathe. Feel the air, feel the peace, and make the most of your life. We really appreciate you joining us, and we will catch you next week on Monday. This has been What's the Buzz? We appreciate it. Peace, love, and light. Good night.